On more than one occasion, a man has approached me in a bar and said, "You look like Bill Gates." If I'm wearing a scarf, it's often Harry Potter, but if scarfless, it's usually Bill Gates. So that's why when I was playing a board game recently with a good friend of mine, and the object of the game was to describe a name on a card without saying that name, and I got Bill Gates. So I said to my good friend, now this guy, he's not a celebrity per se, but he is famous, and people say I look like him. And my friend said, the Elephant Man. With a speed that would suggest he'd been thinking about it for weeks. And he'd been just looking for an opportunity to bring it up naturally in conversation. Now, I did this set a while ago, and afterwards an English girl came up to me. She was about 20, and she said, now, I don't actually know what Bill Gates looks like, but I do agree that you look like him. Which is annoying, because it means not only do I look like Bill Gates, but I also look like the concept of Bill Gates. I don't think that's a compliment, and I know you're laughing, but you're also silently agreeing. So that's also annoying. So I've got one joke, and here it is. I hope you like it. I hate people who believe that time is linear. It's just one thing after another with people like that. Some people like that. Some people who believe that time is linear are offended by it. If you're offended by that joke, I'm sorry. It's never my intention to come up on stage and upset people, offend people. It's a risk I take. But the problem is, I'm what's considered a comedy fundamentalist. And that means that I believe that once a joke has been conceived, it has to be delivered. And I don't care if you never wanted to be a comedian, or if the seed of the joke was planted in your mind against your will, or if delivering that joke could endanger your health, or even your life. I think you should have to do it. I think you should have to deliver the joke. I do believe that. I believe it's wrong. I think that comedians we're just vessels for jokes, is my opinion. I think I've lost a few people in that. I'm sure. Normally what I do when I have like an unwanted joke, I try and get a gig in the UK. I'm just back from the UK actually. I was over in Edinburgh there last month. I did a couple of gigs during the festival, but I did a bit of travelling around when I was there. And anyone here ever been to Arbroath? No, nobody. It's a nice little seaside town up the coast from Dundee, and nice old abbey there. If you're ever in town, it's good. It's nice, yeah. And the day I was leaving, went down for a walk by the seafront, and I saw a sign there and it said, Arbroath Harbour is a working harbour. And I thought, oh, that's good. Because there's too many out-of-work harbours these days. And it reminded me of the old saying, give a harbour a fish and it'll work for a day. But teach a harbour to fish and it'll work until fish stocks are depleted and all harbours are left out of work. And that reminded me of the other old saying, give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. But if you give a man a fish every day, he'll become dependent. So you should reduce his access to free fish, and that'll encourage him to learn to fish himself. And then you can tax some of the fish he collects and redistribute that throughout society. It's not the catchiest old saying, really. To be honest, I'm surprised it's lasted the test of time, but there you are. You all recognise it, obviously, so there you are. I'm a fan of those kind of things, like old sayings, mythology. fables, all that kind of stuff. But the only fable I don't like is the one with the tortoise and the hare. You all know the tortoise and the hare? And the moral of the story is slow and steady wins the race. And if there's one thing that I think we can all agree is that slow and steady will never win a race. It'll always, by definition, lose to average speed and steady. Or fast and steady, obviously. And it'll also lose to fast and erratic. Like, as long as you're not a fucking idiot and lie down beside the finish line and go to sleep. You know? That hare has given hares everywhere a bad name. Now, I'd say I've probably about 2 minutes left, so I'll do a few. They're not really jokes, but you might find them funny. Let's see. So as I said, I was over in the UK recently. I went up on stage, did a gig, went up on stage, said, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Chris from Ireland." And I could immediately feel 52% of the audience becoming furious. And I could hear the guys in the front row like turning to each other and saying, "I thought we already voted on this. What's he still doing here?" And they threw me out. The Brexit, tick. Did you hear what Donald Trump said yesterday? US politics, tick. Have you seen some of the potholes around Dublin? Some of them are big enough to fit a family in. And yet homelessness is still rife in Ireland. So that's local politics, tick, and also social commentary, tick. Now, I could keep going with these because I have a lot more of them, but to me, comedy, like female masturbation, is more than just a box-ticking exercise. That's sex jokes, tick. Now, the women in the crowd will be able to tell you, lads, that joke doesn't work on a technical level, because if the part of the anatomy that you're ticking is the box, you're doing it wrong. That's deconstruction, tick. Here, are you a fan of deconstruction? He is. Crowd work, tick. Okay, one more and then I'll get off. Have you ever noticed something? I've also noticed this. But when I noticed it in a funny way. And that's observational comedy. I'm Christopher O'Leary and that's me done. Thanks again, guys.